Okay, welcome back everyone to some Morgue analysis. Today I got a special guest, Reels. Reels, hello.
Hey, hello. Yep.
So Reels is rare in on this channel in that, oh, actually, not really that rare. I've had bad players on my channel before. See Alcopop. Sorry, not bad, but like just not greater players. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So we got. Damn, you didn't even
Glad to be
stutter.
the bad player of the day.
No, no, no.
I'll take
Like you, like the joke is Alcopop's actually a greater player, but we don't treat him like one. You know what I mean?
it.
But
Oh
you
no.
just didn't accept. You just was like, "Yep, he's not a great player. I know it." I
Right.
like that. That's harsh, man. You
Was
do
there
you.
was was there supposed
Uh,
to be respect conveyed or
no, don't worry about it.
oh,
It's
my
just
my bad.
Alco.
My bad.
Fuck that guy.
Okay. All
Wow, we start with just absolute roasting, and he's not even in this call, so that's just rude. Anyway, he knows what's up. So today we're gonna do the Morgue analysis for the Greater Player run. I actually put a video up at the very end of the Greater Player run. I was talking about Morgue analysis, my own Morgue analysis, and I was gonna do that for everyone else as well. But because Reels is here, I want to take a bit of time to talk about how he has done his run. Because Reels, you actually made a new account, much like Salt City, called Reels GP, just to do the Greater Player run, and you're about halfway-ish through, about maybe 40%. So I wanted
Yeah.
to get some
Yeah.
thoughts on how you've been doing it so far, and I want you to just kind of tell me how you've adapted your run in general and all that stuff. So we'll start with the basics, right? Um, why did you start the Greater Player run on a new account, and like how was it?
Yeah. Uh, I started playing Crawl not too long ago. I'm actually a new player as of 20.
As of
I
Oh,
started
really?
playing. I started playing right around when the tournament started. Maybe like a
Damn,
day or two into the tournament.
what the hell? That's
Uh,
pretty good.
and
Wait, how do you have this many wins already? What the hell? What's wrong with you?
I've played quite a bit. Crawl has I've certainly been bitten by the crawl bug a little bit.
Yeah, but still, that's
And
wait, 0.20 was holy shit. That never mind. That was like 6 months ago. I
it
was
was
like, wasn't it
it
last
was a
month?
while ago. I mean, it wasn't quite 6 months, but it's certainly the most recent tournament.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's not. It's been
My
a few months.
Yeah. That's
That
good.
said, I played through the tournament and I got my first win during the tournament.
Shit, that's actually
And
really good then. That means you won your first game like 2 weeks like since you started. That's pretty insane. It's good
yeah, I
stuff.
think I got 2 wins during the tournament and a third one
Jesus.
shortly after, and I hadn't done 15 rune yet, and I wanted to experience that part of the game, and I did that.
Oh,
So
wow.
I was kind of still playing crawl after the tournament, and I wanted to get better, and I started finding content online, not the least of which was yours and Ultra and a couple other people who are a little more dodgy, but still interesting, their perspective,
Yeah.
and I wanted to improve and I wanted to experience the things that were there to experience in the game. But there isn't really a lot of guiding light around, and there aren't really any like blueprints or maps that you can follow. Even if you are interested, the game is of course very complex, and it is very deep, and there's a lot of intrigue and interest there, and a lot of things to explore. And I wanted to explore more of them, but in order to do that, I kind of had to get better at the game as well.
Yeah, that's
That was a struggle for a while,
I mean,
and I found your greater player run.
I'm learning for the first time that you won your first game in 2 weeks and then you got 2 wins in those 2 weeks. That's actually insane. Did you have someone teaching you how to do that?
I did.
Oh, okay.
I
I was
mean,
gonna say like,
I started playing during the tournament because there were people who had played crawl before
right,
around me.
okay. I was like, holy crap, to be organically winning in 2 weeks is pretty insane. Like that's
Yeah, so
crazy.
I definitely had some guidance, but
Nah, but that's
their level of expertise stops at a certain point.
yeah. I know exactly what you mean. Like I had the exact same startup, except the guy I learned from didn't. His best score was 1,754. I still remember because I spent trying. I think I spent 3 weeks trying to beat it, and I didn't. So yeah, that was
Yeah.
impressive. But yeah, like
So I was making my own way for a while,
jeez,
basically
yeah,
trying to figure out how to do all the stuff, get better, sort of branch branch out a bit. Excuse me, and
it's all right.
I found your Greaterplayer run, and that kind of gave me that blueprint or that map that would be a little bit of guidance. And I
Yeah,
knew, of course, that I would still have to learn a lot of stuff on my own along the way. That it's not possible in like a roguelike where you have to adapt to each game to follow exactly what you did.
yeah.
But I knew I could like 90%, kind of use that as like a strong teaching tool, and that's where I am. I'm in the middle of it.
And how are you
Um,
finding it?
the timing of this is actually really good because the first part was really easy. I was kind of retracing my steps
With
initially.
the whole Minotaur, Gargoyle, all that stuff.
Right. Like I
Yeah,
knew before I even started the run that if I were to if this were like a tournament again,
yeah.
that I should be playing like Gargoyle, Warper, and picking up
Well,
uh, a weapon
yes,
and whatever, and
kind
that
of.
way I could get the win with that combo. But I'm not really like playing a Warper or whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
I could be a Minotaur Venom Mage and never cast a spell, just find an Altar of Trog or whatever. Like
yeah.
I could do all those things, but that's not what I wanted to do. And the run was actually set up to actually like do the classic combos, play them the way that they're played, do some of the hybrid things or the swap things. Like I'm about to play the Deep Dwarf Necromancer, which I'm sure we'll talk about a
Yeah,
little
we will
bit.
be. Yeah. So
But exactly. So anyway, I wanted to go through all that experience. I'm about 9 or 10 runs in.
yeah, I'm on your like page right now, and you've done Minotaur Fighter, Gargoyle Gladiator, Hilo Berserker, Deep Elf Venom Mage, which is a bit of a actually should pull up Salt City right now. Oops, that's Sac City.
Yeah,
Nope,
yeah, I
where's
did a
Salt City?
couple
There we go.
swaps.
So we'll do a bit of a side by side comparison, then we'll get into the Morgue analysis. But how did you find like? I know that the Deep Elf has been a huge bump for a lot of people, and you actually chose to do Deep Elf Venom Mage rather than Deep Elf Fire Elementalist or Conjurer. Is there a reason why you did that?
Yeah, there is. Deep Elf Fire Elementalist, I felt was maybe too easy, and I was looking deeper in the run,
Yeah,
and I was worried about some later things.
right.
So you did Conjurer before the book changed. I've never played the Conjurer book with Battlesphere in it.
Yeah,
And you said that you recommended Fire
I
Elementalist, which I
mean,
think is a very classic combo and very interesting and very powerful. But I didn't need the
yeah. You didn't need like to give that like early game boost to the mage power. I get it. No. Like the thing is, yeah, you got to remember the run is very tailored towards haven't even won a game yet to getting first greater play. So that's why that early in the
yes,
run, you kind of just chuck the easy mages at someone. You give them all the tools. That's why the first 5 or 6 games, even to the maybe like to the 8th game, they're just really basic. No like no expense was spared basically in the first at least 5 to 6 runs. No expenses were spared in giving you that potential to win really easily because I know that at the beginning of the runs that tends to be the hardest stuff, learning your first couple of games. So I think
absolutely.
even down to Spriggan Enchanter, you really get a sense of everything in that run. There's no compromise. They're doing the absolute classic combos. There's no like, oh, I need to make this change to this setup. But if for a more advanced player willing to deviate slightly from the run, I do think that making swaps here and there in the earlier parts of the run are actually very beneficial for someone who can win reliably but hasn't got greater player yet. It's just a very convenient way to do it. So
Yeah,
yeah, I do
I
like
only,
the
I only did a very small amount of swapping. I only
yeah.
did a little bit,
Oh
and
well, you say that, but
basically
then you
because
bloody did. Then you're like, oh, I need to change my Vine Stalker. We were having
that's
a
why. I
conversation.
mean, like, yes, there are a couple things that I wanted to make sure that I had set up maybe a little bit better for me down the line.
Yeah.
But even the path, even with the Conjurer book change, I think like your original one is fine.
Yeah, I still think it's fine. It's just that Deep Elf Elementalist, like I said, I'm sparing absolutely no expense in those early runs because I know that that's where the mechanics have to be set in groundwork. So
For sure.
they have to be like a good foundation there for me to move on to other stuff. So yeah, Deep Elf Conjurer is still good, still effective. I think you can actually copy my run even now with the Conjurer changes, and you'll still be fine. But the Conjurer is a little bit more annoying because you have to rely a lot more on IMB, and Force Lance is kind of garbage. So your end spell is kind of meh. You know what I mean? Like it's just
Right.
bleh.
Yep.
Why would I want that? But yeah, that seems pretty good. It looks like your first couple of runs were really streaky. I think a 4 streak from second to sixth run. No, fifth run. Wait, what? That's not how numbers work.
Yep.
2, 3, 4, 5. There you go. So your second to fifth run were all streaks. How do numbers?
I
What
think
the
if
hell? How do
I,
numbers work?
I think I potentially could have gone the first 6 in a streak, and I think, of course, a newer player shouldn't be expected to do anything remotely like that. The first 3 runs are really there to teach you about the game, and the 4th one is to teach you about casting spells.
Yeah,
which is great, and I was familiar enough with those.
I think your win rate was like 75 to 80% when I was last looking at it, and then it
up until
sharply
the
dropped.
game.
Yeah, it sharply dropped.
Yes.
So I would say to the people who have done the Greaterplayer run or have started, don't be discouraged that your win rate drops. It happens to literally everyone because you just go from easier combos to slightly harder combos. It's very natural. Your win rate shouldn't be the focus of the Greaterplayer run anyway. You're just trying to get things done in a reasonable amount of time with a reasonable amount of combinations. How do you feel about the variety so far in the run? Do you think that it's enough, or do you think that maybe a future Greaterplayer run could be, enhanced by maybe pushing some of the more unique combinations, like I don't know, what are there? Like maybe a transmuter earlier on, maybe an Earth Elementalist early on, something like that. More mages in the start.
Right.
What do you think?
I do think that there's not. I guess the only thing that I would want maybe earlier, and I actually ended up playing a character that basically was like this anyway.
Yeah.
Is something that is like very, very hybridy.
Right.
That's something that's not really represented within the very first part, and I think that's reasonable.
Well, Spring and Enchant is kind of, but not, yeah. It's like
a little bit.
Let's see. The first one that I
part,
do that's hybridy, I think it's like what, Merfolk Scald, maybe? Or is that full melee?
Yeah.
Merfolk Scald,
you can go full melee, or you can hybrid cast on a Merfolk Scald, to my understanding. Yeah. Either way.
Let's see. So I think the hybrids that I would use were like what? Field Artificer, the Enchanters, the Transmuters, maybe a Warper here and there, and like maybe like a Tengu or something like that. Just 1 or 2 on the side. Like the thing about hybridism is that it's complex and it's unnecessary to win the game, and most of the time you're actually downgrading yourself if you don't do it right to get those spells. So I really did underrepresent hybrids in the game, just because, like I said, the framework for hybridism has been taken out a lot over the series of multiple versions of the game. Repel missiles being gone, phase shift being gone, Ozakubos being nerfed. I mean, I could go on, but I forgot the rest of them, to be completely honest. They've just not been relevant to the game for so long. It's just kind of not been a thing. But a lot of the stuff has just been, and haste, obviously, getting removed was a big factor in, the whole hybrid deal. You don't get access to this kind of, like, insane spells and stuff anymore. It's just kind of painful to train for hybridism. I mean, your Demigod Wanderer was able to do that to some degree with, Fire Dragon Armor, Great Sword, and Min Delay, and then just a whole bunch of other like support spells like Spectral Weapon Regeneration, Metabolic Inglatiation, Invisibility, Ozakubos, Silence, Swiftness, Lightning Spire. Those kind of like these kind of like contemporary goods mixed with the old classics like Regeneration. It is still, I would still say hybridism is quite reasonable to do, but it's just a pain in the ass most of the time, and a lot of characters don't really benefit quite as much as just beating stuff over the head with your god abilities and a big weapon, or going full into magic and getting some actual stuff that covers every situation, rather than having this slew of reasonable kind of good hybrid stuff at the cost of armor and dodging and fighting and whatnot. Demigod obviously has no real choice because they have to make use of the entirety of the game, or it's kind of tough for them to get through without a lot of consumables. So like full melee Demigod's not that good because you've kind of just wasted all the stuff you've gotten from Demigod, which is not a lot, to be honest. And you don't have a god, so it's just you know what I mean? But yeah, you're right.
But whether or not it's a full, I guess the point to me, and even if it's like a true hybrid character or not, I think one of the most challenging things for me as a player, and one of the things that I guess to answer the question, like, is there anything I would want more of early on in the run,
Yeah.
or within the context of the run, is taking things that aren't really raw power. When you are a Minotaur fighter and you have an axe, get better at doing axes.
Yeah.
But you're so powerful at doing that, and you have the potential to be so powerful doing that, that you don't really need to use that. You could potentially like never pick up a wand and never use it, and you could win games.
Yeah, of course.
And using the tools that you have available to you, understanding that the things you find in the dungeon are available tools within your toolkit to like bust out and use at an appropriate time. Like, one of the things you have to learn in crawl early on is, in order to win games, is evaluating danger, evaluating threat. And that's one of the biggest skills I think that I'm still I'm not great at, and still getting better at in crawl. But another skill that to me has been very difficult to master is understanding when to use what resources that are available to you. That, there's a million times I've died without reading a fear scroll when I could have read a fear scroll. And those things are available to every character. And playing a hybrid is like opting into having more fear scrolls. But it's like you already forget to use fear scrolls, but now you have even more things that are kind of like they don't advance a very linear raw power.
Yeah.
They branch out into these like utility and situational tools in your
they're
toolkit.
really good in situations, and then sometimes they're just whatever, you know what I mean?
Yep.
I definitely agree with you in that. A hybrid that uses their spells every single time is good, but yeah, like I said, the Greaterplayer run it does incorporate a lot of my personal philosophy. That is, the simpler you make this game, the better it is for you, both quality of life wise and with regards to like your ability to just win. And I think it's a really just a philosophical difference, really. Like I certainly have a lot of games where I can abuse X mechanic that isn't really good. I mean, you've seen it in the last couple of runs, right? I've just been literally doing just meme runs over and over again, and just like relying on stuff that people don't normally rely on, and it works. It absolutely does work. It's just that, for simplicity's sake, mind you, that I did kind of target that towards the lowest common denominator in terms of skill, I guess, if that makes sense. I just made it so that every single game, you pick the same thing, and you do the same thing 27 times, boom, you're done. You know what I mean? Like, it's just really, there's no, like, I tried very hard to not vary too much from my game style, which I do think does lead to a bit of fatigue in the game as well. On top of not being able to understand, like, the certain mechanics that you're talking about, I also feel like the variety of the run might have impacted, my template runs may have been kind of bad for the overall health of the series, just because it was so, linear and straightforward. But, ultimately as a teaching tool, I think what I've done is fine, but you're absolutely right. I probably should have done the Merfolk Scald more scaldy, at the very least, and given more examples of hybrid play. But yeah, that's a really good point, actually. I will probably think about trying to run a couple more hybrids down the line, and maybe adding them to the Salt City account, just as like an add-on to the Greaterplayer run. Maybe give it a couple more examples, or I'll just do it in my next Greaterplayer run. It's up to me. It's up to like however I feel at the time. But yeah, that's a very good point. I will keep that in mind for the next run, and I'll see if it's actually reasonable. Like I said, my philosophy is that the simpler you make your character, the easier it is to win the game. And I mean, it works. It bloody does work. That's been how I've been playing this game for like 4 years now. Holy shit! Like I think I'm like 5 years old in this game now. That's insane. Yeah, that's like just how I see it. That I understand exactly where you're coming from, and you're absolutely right. So yeah, that's good advice. Thank you for sharing your part of the run. Now we're gonna go a little bit on to the Morgue analysis, because we've already been talking for about 20 minutes. So I pulled these from
let's just dive in.
I pulled these from the Greaterplayer video. There's a couple of them, but T-Self has, like, these are the secondary guys, but T-Self has a really good analysis of his own run, which I wanted to kind of highlight today. because it's really interesting. So let's read through it. There was an introduction. I completely forgot to copy paste. I may have just deleted it, but whoops. I think there was like I'm pretty sure there was like an introduction here. I don't know where it went. Crap. Whatever. Who cares? Who cares? So this is T-Self's account. We're going to be taking into account all the stuff from 0.20, I think. No, wait, no. He actually did this in 0.19, and it follows mine almost pretty closely, actually. Okay, never mind. All right, let's just see what he has to say, shall we? A few statistics for the GP run. Man, he's bloody. Wow, he actually did like analysis for us on the stats. Cool. Let's read what he has to say. General thoughts on the run. I tended to play most of the games to my safe zone of familiarity, so that meant Aquara for melee and Vehement for magic. Although I certainly felt like McCleb and Frog are just as easy as Aquara, and I enjoy his playstyle more. Oh, sorry. Although I certainly felt, yeah, okay. You enjoyed his playstyle more. Tengu Elementalist was by far most difficult character for me, with Mummy Summon having the most deaths because it was at the end of the run, and I was getting frustrated for not finishing, and the tournament being so close, I really wanted to finish first and prepare for it. I really hated Spider's Nest, yet it's Lair Branch. It's Lair Branch I tend to want the most. Slime is my go-to third rune. I really hate double trapped Zot 5. I have the worst luck with Orbs of Fire. Human Wanderer killed 14 of them. And finally the 0.20 tournament. So I think that... No, he wasn't in my group. He was actually in like... in the tournament I was trying to run groups, and I think I actually tried to chuck a couple of the Discord channel people into his group, but yeah. Finally, 0.20 tournament. I finished in 52nd place, and my clan came 11th with Razor, Gorglemux, Dark Technomancer, and Dynast, which are all players that are in the Discord chat. Had a great start to the tournament, claiming 3 wins in my first night, including my fastest ever win, Minotaur Gladiator, in 1 hour 56, 50% faster than before, and my highest score later in the tournament with a Ghoul Assassin with 19 million points. Even managed a Nemelec's Choice win with Formless Wizard. I kind of stopped playing for most of the tournament after the first weekend, thanks to burnout. 3 months of Greaterplayer with a lot of crawl in a short time. It absolutely is. We came back at the end and tried to push our clan to 11th, which we came super close to. And let's be honest, we were the highest ranked clan with only 5 players, so top 10 would have been really easy with anyone as a 6th player. You say that, but the reality is, hell no, dude. Like, holy shit. Me, I think it was like in the 0.17 or something tournament. It was just like, what? Me, Ultra, and literally like Mega Slime and Bob, and we came like 2nd or 3rd or something, and which was insane because we had 4 players and 2 of them weren't even playing. It was just us 2 running that whole tournament. So it is freaking hard, but yeah, you're right. Depends on how useful your 6th player is, though. If he didn't get a single win, it kind of does hurt. 3,092 points, 7 wins over two weeks for my first tournament. Felt amazing. Looking forward to future ones. We're up to get top 25 as a goal. Show less, which is just the YouTube stuff. Cool. So yeah, T-Self is someone I know from the channel and also from Discord, I believe. He's been quite active in the last 6 months. Oh shit, there's noise. Could you hear that, Realz?
Ever so faintly.
Oh, okay. That's fine. So this is his profile page. He's got 621 games, 36 wins, which is pretty good. 36 wins is really nice. And I believe, is he Greaterplayer yet? I think he actually is Greaterplayer. Oh, that's great. So he's actually hit Greaterplayer now, finishing up with Mummy Summoner at his 25th game. Wait, how do you? Oh right, I doubled up on my one. Yeah. So 25 games is all you really need for a Greaterplayer run, I think, or 26. Yeah, it looks like he's followed my my thingo quite closely, sort of. Went Gargoyle Fighter, Mental Berserker, Troll Monk, Spriggan Enchanter. Yeah, Hilo Gladiator, all the stuff that I did, he followed pretty closely. He even did Tengu Elementalist, which is quite impressive, with a 3-run game. Pretty interesting game, 23-30 in terms of defense for AC, 185 HP, 1 pip of RF. Pretty interesting. Let's see what he did for his Tengu Elementalist, because I never actually got that to work. Looks like he went for Spellforge Servitor, Orbital Destruction, and a little bit of Iron Shot nonsense and Ignition to finish the game off. Pretty impressive stuff. But yeah, let's look at his stats, which he actually has so kindly provided. Start of Greaterplayer run was the Draconian Conjurer. So it was the Sorcerer, 5-rune Vehement game, 10 hours, 100k turns. Very, very classic start to a Greaterplayer run if you're going to do a mage start. 8.6% win rate over 24 wins. It took 11 days, almost 12 days of straight playing, and the average playtime was about 3 hours a day, which is actually quite a lot. And it took him about 3 months and 1 week. So what that tells us is that the Greaterplayer run is really quite an investment in terms of time. It really does take a long time. I mean, even with me at 40 minutes straight, every single one of my runs is like 2 hours long. It still took me 6 months to do. So it does. Don't think of the Greaterplayer run as like something you can just do over a weekend. It definitely takes quite a lot of work to put towards. Realz, how much have you done approximately in your Greaterplayer run? Do you know? I mean, your
How
games are
much?
pretty slow, right?
I tend to play really slow. A lot of my times actually like are AFK time because I'll leave it tabbed out.
Oh
And
no, you don't have to worry about that. I don't think that's how the timer works. I think it doesn't count after 15 seconds. It was actually broken at
after
some
15
point, but
seconds,
they
sure.
fixed it. But this might only be on CPO, so don't worry about that. Just like
Yeah,
when did you start playing on the Greaterplayer run? I forgot.
not that long ago. Does it save a? Yeah, it saves a date. So it looks like I think it saves a date here.
So your first game
8/15.
was.
So 2 weeks, a little more than 2 weeks.
Oh, that's pretty good. Holy shit, dude, are you alright? Why are you playing so much?
I am all right. Yes.
Why are you playing? You're playing like 8 hours a day, dude. What?
No, definitely not playing 8 hours a day. I assure you.
Spriggan Enchanter was done on the 23rd. Oh, you're playing 4 hours a day. Jesus Christ, man. Are you okay?
Yeah, that's probably closer to right, but it's probably about 3 or 4 maybe.
Yeah.
I've been
You
playing
can't.
most evenings.
You can't lie to me, Realz. I know your tricks. All right.
Sure. Yeah, 3 or 4 sounds about right.
How could you?
I
No, that's
I'm
good.
sure it would take a little longer, of course, if I was at more like 1 or 2 hours, but it's like any other gaming hobby, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'm no stranger to playing.
Are you gonna reveal your? Are you gonna reveal your power level, dude? Are you revealing your power level right now?
4 hours of gaming sounds tame to me. Let's put it that
Wow,
way.
let's revealing the power level this early on in the video.
But yeah, I mean, I tend to really enjoy an hour or two of crawl even on a daily basis.
Yeah, I mean, that's
I've been putting
fine.
a little bit more time into it. Anytime I'm ever like close to finishing a game or anything like that, I'll spend more time
dump in
because
that.
I want to focus and get it done.
Yeah, that's pretty good actually. Even my tournament run was like 4 hours and 30 minutes a day playing. That was killing me. So I don't know how you're doing it.
Well, your games are also like 2 hours long. Mine seem to average right around 5 or 6.
I mean, yeah, but like it's like that's raw time. Like I mean, that was insane actually. I was looking at the streak that I did accidentally in point 20. Every run is like 2 hours long or less. It's just like, what the hell?
Yeah,
what was I doing? How did I do that? I was just, I was like, I don't know. Sometimes, because I was looking at Demise account, because I was going to play on that for the channel. But anyway, whatever. We've got not enough time, I think, because I have to go to work soon. But yeah, T-Self did 42 Mummy Summoner deaths, 40 Tengu Elementalist, Vinestalker and Transmuter. Cobalt Assassin surprisingly had 22 deaths. I wonder why that's the case. What does the asterisk mean? I don't know what that actually means. Okay, that's interesting. So it looks like if we were to take this from one sample size, it's obviously not enough, but it does look like the Mummy Summoner, the Tengu Air Elementalist, and the Vinestalker Transmuter are by far the hardest things in the run, and I completely agree with that. Actually, I'd put Feeled Artificer way up higher, but he managed to get that done in only 4 runs. That's pretty good. Obviously, you haven't done those yet, but do you have any fear about the Tengu run and the Mummy run and the Vinestalker run? I mean, you have talked to me about Vinestalker already, but
yeah.
What are you thinking about those?
Yeah,
there's
some that I am worried about. Some of the things that I've already done, and the reason I had so much success early is in part because it's familiar ground.
Yeah.
Familiar territory. The ones that I was worried about was the Naga game. That's been the most difficult one so far. That took 10 tries.
10 tries.
And this is,
come on, man.
Well, this is me really trying to slow down and play well.
I was gonna say 10 tries is nothing, man. Don't worry about it. You shouldn't.
I think I only had 2 throws. I think I only had 2 like I played this really badly and I know it deaths,
Yeah,
and the rest were just me learning.
and 4 demigod
Or
deaths.
things you can't do anything about on a Naga, of course. Like I have 2 D1 deaths on the Naga.
Yeah.
One of them was 19 turns into the game because literally I opened a door and there was a leopard gecko with a rat behind it, and the leopard gecko killed me.
Let me just take a look. This. All right.
There's not even a morgue for it.
Yeah, I know. What the hell? It's like it doesn't even give you a morgue. That's
It's
unfortunate.
because I have. It's because there's no score. There's no points because I killed nothing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I could probably point you to some things. Let's look. Okay, look. So the first thing I said when I was looking at this is, what the fuck are you training? Like, look at this: sneak, conjurer, spearbearer, tainter, sneak, magician, spearbearer, sneak, magician. Like, what are you doing, dude? Like, it was all over the place when I was looking at it. And Che, Okawaru, Vehumit, and you read on a Naga wizard. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
I feel like you were just not really doing it consistently, which might have been the issue.
Sure, and I think that's something that, like, I mean, I'd love to get advice about.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I'll explain to you what I was thinking, and you can kind of help steer me a little bit better.
Okay, look. So let's look at the one where you die to a null. Why are you only training conjurations? What? Hello? What's going on there?
So I started with the wizard book.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I have to kill with at that time, of course, is magic dart.
What about stealth? What about spellcasting for mana?
So stealth was not being trained. Every single one of these runs had stealth turned off at the beginning of the game.
Why? You have +5 to it, and you're in robes. It's a good idea.
Great question. Also, so the ones that were sneak were just I died before any skill passed the base stealth.
Right. Okay, so you have 3 potions: haste, might, curing. Either one would have been pretty good against that guy. But you also had a hunting sling. Oh, you didn't have any stones, I guess. That makes sense. Like, I don't know. I feel like you probably could have not trained. Like, you need to understand that Wizard doesn't play exactly like every other thing. I mean, I already told you I don't really like the fact that you switch. Not because it's like, oh, it's because this is my run. What are you doing changing my run? But more like, I don't like the whole Naga Wizard thing. Because I just find that it's not necessary at all.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely you're training one thing at a time. It's kind of interesting. I don't think it's the most effective way to do it. Like, unless you're really micromanaging with it. I would have like conjuration, spellcasting, stealth trained all at once with a focus on conjurations. Magic Dart doesn't need to be at max power for it to be effective anyway. Yeah, like a lot of your runs are just weird, just like straight out weird. I don't even know what Tainter is. How did you get that? You had
I have no
9
idea.
in poison magic, right? Why do you have so much in poison magic? Oh, because you have poison, vapors, and Olgrips. Okay, fair enough. But
yeah,
like,
I found
it's just
the poison book, but
just
I couldn't get away from
a very weird way of like you didn't train conjurations at all in that game. That makes no sense. Like, you have to be more consistent with your runs. I think it's really hard for you to get everything you want consistently if you're not training consistently. It's kind of just like your training is just so all over the place here. I'm just kind of confused, but
that's a fair point. But that is because I'm just throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. The Naga is not something that I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
I also, and here's a good example. One thing on my starter account, not the Greaterplayer account, that I played a good few times and never won with.
Yeah.
Was Merfolk Skald, and that's the sort of the classic combo.
I have Realz.
They're good with pole arms. It gives them spectral weapon. You're like, oh, cool, synergy. But I've tried that character a lot, and most of the times when I try and succeed with that character, I'm trying different skilling paths and not being consistent.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to figure out what works.
Okay.
And
so
if I find
to give you a hint,
that I think isn't working, then I try something else.
Yeah, to give you a hint on that, what I would suggest doing is following a random wizard game or a random Naga game or whatever from like either me or from someone from like a Morgue or whatever, and then just going and saying like, I'll just do exactly what is done in this game, and then I'll just see if it works and get to some point before you start switching up, because that usually is the best way to get your character killed over and over again, because you're it's just too many variables, I guess, in the way that you skill.
Yeah.
You can't really focus on whatever's tactically issue. Like, it looked like that Realz GP game, sorry, the Naga Wizard game that you were doing, were actually quite affected by, like, it just, I don't know, at least from my perspective, it looks like you screwed up a lot of tactical errors rather than having strategic, like having the strategic changes be important. They didn't feel like they were that relevant to the game. It looks a lot more like, oh, I'm dying to X thing because I'm not using Y that very thing. For example,
Yeah.
when you die to the ice beast, like again, like you had a fear scroll in your inventory, you had an identify scroll in your inventory. You probably could have used one of those, but it was a D2 ice beast, so it kind of does.
I think I was just. I was like, D2 Ice Beast, are you kidding me? I can't run. I guess I have to fight it, and I didn't even think about.
Yeah, like
I
Conjure
was so
Flame
blown
there.
away by the fact that there was an Ice Beast on D2.
Conjure Flame really good against getting away from ice beast, just perfect. Even if you went down to like Conjure Flame and maybe like sling bullets or tomahawks or whatever, you could have probably gotten them down, or you could have just run away. But yeah, that's a crap situation. But it's hard to say with such a small sample size of 10 that your skilling was right or wrong. That's why I'm saying, like, if you're gonna do something in terms of like throwing stuff at the wall, throw one thing at the wall. Don't throw 10 things at the wall because you're gonna have. Oh, sorry. Look, okay, look. It's like you're throwing things at the wall.
I did get more consistent. I did get more consistent over time. One thing I ended up doing was I would take, I forget which it was, spell casting and conjurations to a particular spot, and then leave them there. And then I would take most of the things, the sub, sort of like the sub categories, the sub skills needed for the other spells like Mephitic and Conjure Flame.
I think you're overcomplicating.
To like 3 or 4 or whatever it was that made it really inexpensive and efficient, but gets them online.
I think, like I said, the one issue that you have and a lot of other players have while they're doing the first Greaterplayer run is the fact that you just overthink everything so damn much. Like, the game is not, it's not a numbers, like, as weird as it sounds, it's really not a numbers game. It's really just it's an art, not a science, if that makes sense. The numbers don't mean anything. They're just all arbitrary. They're all just MacGuffins to get you to point A or point B. You can really just not have to watch. Jesus, your character was pretty damn strong. Classic trip. Every single resistance is maxed out. MR max. Like, what the fuck is this? This Naga Wizard. Holy shit!
It was a character. So this one was interesting, and I did something very new to me, but I wanted to try it on this character.
Yeah, it went elemental stuff.
The only reason I'm even wearing the Hat of the Alchemist on that character is because I wanted the resist mutation.
Yeah.
And I couldn't wear I had a mutation that made it so that I couldn't wear my +4 helmet. I had like a +4 helmet of something good.
That's pretty funny.
It was amazing, and I couldn't wear it, and I wanted to because I didn't need the resist from the Alchemist hat, even though that thing is nuts. So I don't know if you're looking at the character sheet right now.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
But I found the elemental staff. It'll probably say where I found it.
Like D10 or something. D9, yeah.
D9. I found it on D9.
I mean, that's a really good thing.
I basically said, "Yep, that's what I'm doing."
Yeah.
And
fair enough. Like, it works. Like, it's really, Wizard is just a very flexible class. You can just do whatever you want really with it. You picked up spells and you went melee as well. It's decent. Like, it's a very valid strat. Crap, we're running out of time.
The melee
Realz, running out of time. No, just kidding.
All right, let's hit up some more then. Let's push
all right, no, speedrun your last remark on that character, because otherwise we're gonna go through all your characters and then we're not gonna have time for everyone else. Sorry, boy.
Sure. The basic idea was I found the elemental staff and I wanted to try using it for damage. So the only weapon skill I did was min delay on elemental staff.
And how was that?
I got evocations up enough that it was like 75 or 80% proc chance.
Was it any good?
It was pretty good. It does more damage than an Electrand.
Well, yeah, but it's on a staff.
33% of the time, it was like 80% or whatever.
Base damage is like 4 or 6 or something like that. You're basically using
the base damage is nothing.
Yeah, like it's that's the only reason why I say like it's not that amazing. But yeah, if it works, it works. All right, so T-Self did. All right, we'll just continue with T-Self stuff. 1 and wins. Ogre-Ass Elementalist, Field, Fire Elementalist, Formless and Warper, Draconian Conjurer, Centaur Hunter, and Demigod Earth Elementalist. Pretty good. Splat ratio was about 19 out of 44 for late game, 43 for late game characters. That is pretty bad, I'd say. If you get to level 17 plus and your character's died, That kind of sucks. Lair splat ratio, 26% of characters have reached Lair. Your rune games, 41 with at least 1 rune, 30 with 3 runes, 1 Oberon death with a Kobold Assassin. I've had more than
Ooh,
that, so don't worry about that. Zot deaths, plenty
yeah.
of them. Holy shit, that sucks. And Godwins, 10 Aquara, 6 of a Hermit, 2 McLeod, Trog, Sif, Zom, Lagonu, Gozag, and Atheist. So the Atheist, the Zom games, and the Lagonu games are pretty normal. But it looks like the run can be done very consistently with just Aquara. It's a very classic grind your way to legend kind of style. One deck, one playstyle, one god choice, etc., etc. Very, very, very good. I appreciate this. Thank you very much for your detailed analysis to yourself. I know it's a bit delayed, but yeah, thanks for that. Really, really good. I think that the number of one thing I would want to point out is that the amount of book starts in this game is just painful. It's just so many book starts. So you do really have a couple of issues. Like that's one thing that I don't really like about the Greaterplayer run. It's very book heavy if you are actually playing. Like about a 30 of runs are magic starts, or if not more. It just is painful sometimes, but yeah, it's fine. Um, so yeah, 6 of Humid games. Damn, dude, that's pretty impressive.
That's sick. I love Humid. He's a bro.
It absolutely is. Yeah, Eurasian Chica. Hey, I really enjoyed the series. I didn't do all the combos here, but here's the first spree enchanter I managed to win during the tournament. So this is pretty cool. He's got our
Did it during
26 armor, 44 evade. That's pretty high AC for a character. It's plus 6 Fairy Dragon armor. Plus 9 Quick Blade of Draining, RF triple plus on a Spriggan, pretty good. 5 runes with Death Menace, pretty impressive. It's got 151 health, that's pretty low, but that's just Spriggan for you. Ring of the Octopus King, I would say that that's actually not an amazing thing, but holy shit, that is a ring. R Poise, RF plus, AC plus 5, Slay plus 3. That is
Oh wow,
absolutely
that's one of the best
insane.
I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's a really sick ring. Anything that this character has in particular, I mean, 7 scrolls of blinking really does tell the tale, right? 28 scrolls of teleportation. There's really nothing this character gives a shit about, clearly, in this game. Holy crap. 16 potions of heal wounds. This is an exercise in just complete extravagance. The character got access to a whole bunch of spells like Malign Gateway, Summon Mana Viper, all the classic summoning stuff. Looks pretty good, really good indeed. Interestingly enough, frail. Jesus. Oh, but had rugged brown scales. Damn, this is a real mutation monster right there. This character's pretty awesome. Really liking the look of this Spriggan Enchanter, actually. Wonder how many times it took him. But yeah, this was absolutely this is one of the stronger Spriggan Enchanters I've ever seen. Definitely got a lot of cool stuff going with it. Is there anything you want to add about this, Realz? Anything?
I think that's really cool. That's an awesome character. I think that's one of the things in the run that is worth striving for is you do kind of like lay a pretty good path early on to like once you have done the melee thing, you've done the melee thing, and once you actually win on a caster, you feel like the game is opened up. And then once you win on a character like the Enchanter, which does it is a very unique play style, and you're encouraged to do it. And once you figure out how to win with that, it feels like the game is opened up.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Seeing the character like this and being able to like look at how they ended up is really cool. It's like, oh yeah, it might, even though they got a little bit lucky, isn't it cool when you do?
Yeah, it's like this looks like a game where you're just amazing. Like, holy crap,
you're just having fun the whole time.
Sick. Yeah.
Yeah, when you don't like, how many heal wounds do you have left? And Blinking Scrolls, it's like, yeah, you just.
I love how like
the whole time.
I love how shit my character is in comparison to his.
Right, it's actually in a way, I think it's good if you
like no look if you like switch to Salt City, right? I got 1 pip of RF, I got 15 AC and a +1 dagger of electricity. Just like, god damn, and I'm like I'm 5 levels under him. It's just holy shit. That's just so funny to me. Oh man, the game can really be won with all. Like, and that character, I'm pretty sure felt insanely strong as well, my Spriggan. So it's really funny to think that this Spriggan on this character was just like 15 times better than me. That's actually hilarious. That's awesome. Holy shit, that is a nice character, dude. Very good. Like the cloak is cool, the rings are cool. I would say that the Ring of the Octopus King is kind of meh. It's actually just a wizardry ring. But it's still good. AC +1's still good. Evade +1 always good. But damn, that's a nice character, man. Really happy that you got that. You got like just a whole bunch of stuff. Interestingly, did Death Menace. Like I said, I don't like Death Menace on Spriggan Enchanter, but it's definitely one of the more common Enchanter gods, just because Death Menace Shadows.
It's on theme.
Staggered,
Yeah, it's on theme.
Very on theme, and still effective, mind you. But I just like to have my god be a little bit more out there. If you are watching this, who was it? Eurasian Chica. Sorry, I'm really bad with pronouncing. If you are watching this, let me know if you actually felt that Death Menace was a good choice, or if you felt like, oh yeah, I probably could have picked a different god. Because I've done plenty of Spriggan Death Menace. It's actually very good, but I just want to see what you thought about the game in itself. Yeah, so let's go to the next one. I'm going to close this Salt City one. Dark Techromancer, I was following for a long time, proved pretty vastly in the time I did, thank God. Got distracted by other stuff and never came back to it. You asked for profiles, so here you go, I guess. So, Dark Technomancer, don't use oh my god, dude. Don't use Devils. It sucks. It hasn't been updated for like 20 weeks. So I have to actually go and... Oops, that's not his name. Dark Technomancer, not Techromancer. Dark Technomancer, 20 wins, 6.97% win rate over 287 games. Looks like he started from the beginning, all the way down to 20th win. Got kind of distracted. I think he got down to about 17 before he started deviating. Looks like he's done pretty much everything normal other than the Tengu Air Elementalist, which I was unable to do, just in the interest of time. So, very good job, dude. Anything you can see that's a bit out of the ordinary? Oh, the Ghoul Chaos Knight's Akawara. What the hell? Hello, mate. Is that a real ghoul? If you goddamn fell from grace on turn 0, you scumbag. Oh, that's good anyway. Ghoul Chaos Knight of Akawara.
Zom immediately?
Yeah, because Zom's like wrath doesn't mean shit. It's just the same thing as Zom. Like if he's not happy with you, so you can really just like switch to something else and it's fine.
You could be a worshiper of Zom and he'll mess with you, or you can abandon Zom and then he'll mess with you.
He'll mess with you, but he'll mess with you for like less time than if you just quit him. So it's like, whatever. I guess that's a good strategy. I respect that. Somehow found a large shield of resistance. I thought they removed that from the game. I've never seen one. Holy shit, that's actually incredible. Yeah, really good stuff on this. Gauntlets of War. Holy shit. Okay, well, I'm gonna just close that. Don't want to see that ever again. Everything looks pretty interesting. Human Wanderer of a Slayer with Sif Muno. Oh, as pure mage with 22 fighting, right? True. I like it. Respect it. Classic, like, spells, really good. Sublimation of Blood. Nice to see someone actually using that spell. I do say that's quite good, but, everything looks pretty good, pretty standard. A lot of Akawara games. Love Akawara. Love to see Akawara. It's great stuff. Every time I see Akawara, I'm like, hell yeah, you got a free win from that character. Demigod Fire Elementalist was done. I wonder if Conjurer was... Oh, it's a 0.19, so I assume that means that he had a... what do you call it? He had Battle Sphere, which is great. Thank God you got that in. Sif Muno, actually, not even Behemoth, so it's pretty interesting. Yeah, great work so far. Dude, I hope you continue the run. Looks like you haven't been playing for a while, though. You haven't played for a couple of months, but I'd like to see more. If you do get your Greaterplayer run finished, let me know so I can, praise you some more. Great work. Last on our list is Anub in Disguise, who we've had plenty of conversations with in the channel. He actually did a very interesting run that he wanted to show me. It was a vampire assassin of bat form. So he never left bat form in the entire game, and he went Hep to complement that playstyle. So I actually had a lot of fun looking at this when I first saw it. But basically what he does is he is a bat, and he relies purely on Hep stuff to kill stuff, and he just runs away from everything. And the reason why it's actually viable now is because you can actually open doors and do stuff as a bat, whereas before you couldn't. He managed to pick up some pretty hefty unarmed combat, which gives you, I think, like 1 extra hit dice on your... Like, it does like... He said something ridiculous, like it does 1 extra damage or something like that for every 3 or 4 levels of unarmed combat you put in. So yeah, he trained just fighting, dodging, and stealth, unarmed combat, and a lot of Invo and Evo to try to get through the game without running any like actual combat, I guess, if that makes sense. Took him a classic 240,000 turns, as you would expect. 14,000 attacks of unarmed combat, 1,400 recall ancestors, only 18 idealized, surprisingly. Wouldn't expect that. But yeah, definitely a very interesting thing. Like 14,000 dodged attacks, and somehow he managed to block stuff with a reflection amulet, which is pretty funny. He blocked 430 attacks. Very interesting run. Very interesting. Never actually seen a successful Batform. So congratulations on your victory, and I hope you do some more interesting runs to share in future more Greaterplayer thing. Realz, it's been 50 minutes. Do you have anything else you want to say? Anything you want to like drop in at the very last second?
Not much, I guess. Thanks for having me. I've certainly had a lot of fun playing
That's
through
right.
the run myself, and going through each step. And right now I'm moving on to it. I just finished a game, and I'm moving on to another game, and so I'll be watching your video of your next one. It's Deep Dwarf Necromancer.
Oh, yeah, that's a pretty good one. That was one that I just kind of chucked in because I felt like people would be fatigued at that point. So I was like, oh yeah, let's just pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So you should be able to streak that one, I think.
Yeah, Deep Dwarf I'm pretty comfortable with. I assume I haven't watched the game yet, but that it's basically a melee axe dude.
Yep, pretty much.
And you maybe cast a few spells at the start until you.
Pain's actually really good on Deep Dwarf, by the way. It doesn't hurt you, so it's actually free. Very good early game. So yeah, have a go at that. I'm gonna have to end the video because it's almost an hour, and I don't want to be uploading this for 16 hours. So thank you guys for watching. If you want to see more Morgue analysis stuff, let me know in the comments. I'll probably be doing one. I don't know. I'll probably be doing one sometime later. I don't know exactly when, but like I said, the more content the more Morgue files you guys link, the better the video can be because I can spend more time analyzing rather than making random anecdotes to my own self to screw for time. But yeah, like it's good that we got some links, but yeah, obviously more will always be welcome. So thank you guys very much for watching. Say goodbye, Realz.
Bye bye.
All right, see you guys later.
See you later.